Hello, everyone. This is Tammy, and I wanted to just pop in here and reminisce. I was actually writing a post, and and then I thought I could just talk about it quicker and easier. And um, so I thought I would just come on and talk about it. So I am, let's see, 2 hours and 28 minutes from the point of time when I was in labor with my daughter. She's my oldest child, so she's the one that made. I was young, y'all. I was young. I was young. I was young. And I just, woo! It was a journey, a ride. But I think I labored with her for, I don't know, 25, 27 hours. I don't even remember. Um, because I labored 20 something with both of mine. So I didn't, it's been a long time. So I don't remember exactly, but I do remember that around midnight, we went to the hospital because that's when the pain started getting bad, um, and we had a long drive because we lived in Tacoma, and we had to drive to Fort Lewis. I think we lived in downtown or central. I can't remember, but it was pretty far distance. Not that it made a difference because I did not even have her until three something the next day. I think 3:16 the next day afternoon. So, yeah, so it wasn't even like a real rush, but of course, we didn't know that because this was our first child. And I just thought about it and I was like, wow, now I'm full circle back in the same space that I was in back in 1989. Not the exact same space, but the same state. So I'm in Washington State, and I thought about it. I said, most of the time when I was here, I was pregnant. Matter of fact, almost all the time I was here, I was pregnant. Because I had my oldest, and 10 months later, I was pregnant with my next one. So yeah, so most of the time I was here, I was pregnant. Yeah. I just thought about that. But it seems so surreal to me when I think about it because I was young and I was about 3,000 miles away from home. My mother, my father, my parents, my grandparents, everybody. And I was having a baby. And so it really was just me and my ex-husband, my now ex-husband. And it just hit me that, this child that I had is a grown ass woman. She's 30, she'll be 34 years old after midnight. Or really technically at 3:16 p.m. She will be 34. And I don't know how that could be because I'm 29. So how could I have a 34? But anyway, I'm just sitting here thinking about it and like marveling over it and thinking about the fact that so many things have happened in this time in so many years. And that is actually one of the most amazing things that I am in my life is a mother. Now, truthfully, I had no desire to be anybody's mother, none. I didn't even want pets or plants or any of that type of stuff. I didn't want to take care of anybody. Now, you might say, oh, that's selfish and blah, 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 whatever. I had those experiences earlier in my life and they weren't even my kids. And so I really didn't want any, to be honest. But when we got married and we said, oh, you know what, we can have one. And so we said, we'll have one because neither one of us had finished school. We both had started, but then, dropped out and got married and he went in the military. And so, it was a challenge. And so when I got pregnant with this child, I felt so, it's like all of a sudden whatever feelings I had went out the window. I all I could think about is making sure this baby was safe, and that I carried her, to full term, and all these things, and all the things that go through your mind when you're having a baby. And so for me, it was like, um, felt a connection with this child in my womb. And I know that everybody doesn't. Some people do, some don't, but I did. I felt this connection to this baby in my womb. And with her, I couldn't eat a whole lot. And I got heartburn so bad that I didn't even gain that much weight. Matter of fact, toward the end, they kept telling me, you need to eat, you need to eat. And I was eating, but I was eating every couple of hours, small meals, because that was how I had to do it, because it wouldn't work it out. Because in those days, they weren't giving you anything really but Tylenol. That was almost all you could take, was Tylenol, regardless of what the fuck it was, Tylenol. And so I was like, okay, I, can't take Tylenol for that. So I just, I figured it out. And I think about it now intuitively. I said, you know what? I'm just going to eat these small meals. I just ate a little bit when I was hungry, and all that. And for some reason, I could not eat like steak and stuff like that, which is so weird because that girl used to love her steaks. So anyway, but yeah, I had all of these things that went through my mind, because I was a new mother, brand new, young, and just didn't know. I knew a lot because I had taken care of a lot of kids over my time as I grew up. So I didn't know, a lot. And then I did call my grandmother anytime I had any problems with those kids, um, but yeah, so I went in at midnight. We went in there, and I had went in there like a couple of nights before, and I thought I was in labor. But this time, and it's funny because the same nurse was there, so she probably worked night shift. The same nurse was there, and when I came in the second time, well, the first time she told me, she said, "Are you in labor?" I said, "I think so." She said, "When you're in labor, honey, you're gonna know." And I wasn't in labor that time. I was just, I guess it was getting ready. And then when I went back about 2 nights later, same time, she was there, and she said, "Are you in labor?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." And I think she actually checked me, and she said, "Yes, you are in labor." So they kept me that time because they first sent me home the first time because I don't think I was dilated at all. So this time I think I was dilated to something like 3, something like that. Because at that time the hospital was so overrun that if you weren't in active labor, you couldn't stay. You had to go back home and then just come back. Um, but I was reflecting on that because I could see the growth that I have and that happened for me in all these years, with this child that I had. And I think when I think about it now, I think that those children probably saved my life because um because I like to do things, and I like to get out there and all that kind of stuff. And I probably needed that to chill out and to calm down. Everybody doesn't, but for me, I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. It helped me so much. And now at this stage in my life, when I look back, because she doesn't have any kids, this one, and she says she's not having any. We'll see. She got a little while. She's almost geriatric, I told her, but she's dead set on it pretty much. At this point, she's like, "No, I don't want any." Um, she goes, "No, I don't want any, Ma." And I said, "Well, if you don't want any, don't allow anybody to force you to have them if you don't want them. Because you need to love them and take care of them." So many of us went through that where we felt pressure, you know, to have babies and stuff like that, even if we didn't want them. It's a lot of people that felt that, and I've met a few. But of course, after you have them, you're grateful and you love them and all that kind of stuff. But there's still that moment. And so I'm grateful, to be able to be here to see it, just to see, this child that came from my womb grow up. Now, I ended up having 20 something hours of labor with her, and then they did a C-section. And the same thing happened with my other one that I birthed. 20 something hours of labor and then a C-section, which they could have canceled out all that labor and just did the damn C-section, but I digress. I suppose that experience was something that I needed to have. And that is how I'm looking at things now. And so I'm here to encourage you and tell you to look at things in a different perspective. Change the way that you look at things, and the things that you look at will change. So start looking at things from the spirit of gratitude. Start looking at things as, yeah, this might be bad, or it might have been a bad thing, but what are the things that I'm supposed to learn through this? What is this on my path? How is this helping me to get to my destiny? That's the things that I want you to start to think about and to concern yourself with and to care about is, what are the things um, that I'm getting out of this situation? How am I growing? Because a lot of times we deal with situations and things because we're growing, because it's time for us to shift and move. We are growing. So when we deal with stuff like this, it's like, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. You know what I'm saying? So this is kind of what I'm thinking about. And this is what I feel like as far as things that you deal with. Now, another thing is I have been doing a lot of shadow work, and shadow work is what helps to illuminate those things that are, it's, to me, it's shadows are like programs running in the background. That makes sense. Those of you that are computer geeks and computer nerds and stuff like that know what I'm talking about. People that work on computers, like just, you know what I'm talking about. The programs that are running in the background. Like right now, I am on Facebook and YouTube, but I have MailChimp open, I have Canva open, I have Acuity open, I have LinkedIn open. You see what I'm saying? But those are all programs that are running in the background of this one that we are on. And so that is what shadows are. It's like they're programs running in the background of our life, in the background of our mind, and sometimes they can take over if you don't integrate them. And that really is what shadow work is integrating those programs that are running in the background so that they don't do like the Tesla did and run into a tree and kill the people. You see what I'm saying? So you want to really be looking at the way you look at things. And this has been something that has come up for me, and it's been so amazing and so huge because I know without a doubt that when you begin to shift your perspective, then things in your life will begin to shift. When you start looking at the law of attraction, and that is one thing that I am going to talk a little bit more about, is the law of attraction, because a lot of times people don't know what the law of attraction all entails, because there are 7 laws within the law of attraction that you need to integrate as well. And so I'm going to start talking and sharing about those because I know people don't know. I know they don't know because I can tell when I talk to people, that there's so many things at play. There's so many things at play and so many things that you want to do. And then there's also so many other metaphysical laws, like the law of reciprocity and the law of assumption and the law of expectation. There are so many different laws that you can look at and that can help you to shift in ways that you need to shift so that you can receive the things that you desire, and you can put out into the world who you are and go forward to your destiny, because that really is what it's all about. Before, this is the time between the dashes. This is the dash time. So you know how the dashes are when you're born and when you die? Okay, so this is the time between the dashes. This is between the dashes. Okay? This is between the dashes. So I am super, super grateful and super excited. What is going on? What the heck? I don't know what's happened. But anyway, so I'm super excited. I just wanted to come and share that a little bit because, a lot of times we get on here and we are not sharing who we are, in our authenticity and, some things, just some tidbits about us, because a lot of people didn't know that I have a child that will be 34 tomorrow. And that is so amazing to me. And I just absolutely am so excited because, you know, my child is I told her one day recently, I said, you grown, you do what you want to do. She was asking me about something and I said, well, you're grown. You can do what you want to do. But I appreciate the fact that, they still want my input and they still want to know what I think about things. And you know what else, y'all? I don't get into all of it. You know what I mean? If they want to tell me, then I'll listen. They don't want to tell me, then they don't want to tell me. And I'm okay with that. It's not my business. It's their business. Because you know what? They are grown. They are grown. They live on their own. They take care of their own selves. They pay their own bills. So I mean, it's how I raised them to be. And I'm grateful for that. And there are times when they go through stuff and you go through stuff and we go through stuff, but the thing is the love is always there, and I believe that they know how much I love them, and I think I just told one of them the other night. They sent me a message. It was like, Mom, I love you. I was like, you know what? I love you more than you'll ever know. More than you ever know. Because when they were young, I would lay down my life for those children. And I almost did. With my youngest. I almost died. I was headed for the great beyond. but God saw fit for me to be here so that I could raise these kids, you know, and I'm so grateful because I really honestly couldn't think of what would happen to my kids if something happened to me because I didn't have anybody that I knew that I wanted them to be with. I could think of a few people that I might could, but to be honest, no, there was not a person I could think of that I wanted to raise them but me. How about that? So I know I was all over the place, but I kind of wanted to just talk about some of these things so that, I want to share a little bit about that because it was on my heart. And I know that, there are a lot of us on here that, our kids are growing up and all this stuff. And I see all the young mothers and I always encourage them to make sure that they are present in their child's life as long as they can when they're young, because when they get older, they don't often have time for you. They don't often have time for you, and it's okay. And I'm all right with that. Like I said, I'm cool. I'm fine, because I feel like I'm there for them when they need me. I don't try to run their life. I plant seeds. And if they want to if they want to water them and watch them grow, cool. If they want to just let them die, fine. But I've done what I'm supposed to do. And it's not really my job to take care of them after they are grown. I have taken care of them until they could take care of themselves. And what our job is to prepare them for this world. And that was one of the things that I really tried to do, especially with my boys, because I knew that they were young Black men and they needed to be prepared for the world and how the world was going to treat them and how the world was going to view them. Now, why I had to do that? Because I have young Black men that I wanted to be alive. And we live in America, the land of the free and the home of the fucking brave. So, anyhow, thank you for watching, whoever watched, and those of you that are coming by for the replay, make sure you hit the hashtag replay. I do have a workshop on Friday, awakening your intuition, all about your spiritual gifts and how to use some of those. I got some exercises and things for you, and yeah, all of that stuff. So, and then tomorrow I'm interviewing Camille, St. Charles, Mississippi, on Facebook Live about, I think we're doing it at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 Pacific. So catch us then. It's going to be just a little short interview. We're going to talk about her book the Coffee Fairy Tales, which I'm so excited about. I actually already interviewed her, but I want to do it for the Small Business Network, which I have recently joined. So I'm super grateful for those of you that have watched, and I cannot wait to hear about some of the things that you are doing right now. We are about a week away from Thanksgiving in the US. And yeah, it's going to be good times, but it's going to be okay. And I'm just grateful just for the time just to relax. And, and it's actually the first Thanksgiving I think that my husband and I have both been off, which is already amazing because we typically either both of us are working or one of us are working. Yeah, because it's on Thursday. So, like, I worked Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That was my schedule for a couple of years. And so, Thursday was Thanksgiving. I worked. And I think my husband also, his schedule also was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and every other Wednesday or something like that. And that was mine too. So we were working. So we just celebrate whenever, and that's the thing that you have to realize. You just can't stay all tied up in all of these crazy traditions and things like that because it's just a tradition. They can be changed, they can be shifted, and that's what we always do. So we celebrate when we are, when we're free and we're busy and we can. So anyway, so I guess I had to say that because there's so many people that are caught up in guilt about these things. I didn't get to spend Thanksgiving with my kids and blah blah blah. We haven't spent Thanksgiving with our kids in I don't know how long. Many, many years because they have lived in different states, too far to travel like that, or, maybe they didn't, they couldn't fly. I don't know, but that's been okay. But yeah, so when you can spend time and do what you need to do. So anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with us. I am so super grateful to be able to have this opportunity just to share this. And I know my daughter's not watching because she's not even really a social media girl, but I think she does have a Facebook page. Yes, she does. So happy birthday, Jade Mobley. And her name is Jade Mobley, and you can find her on Facebook. I'm sure she would love any type of gifts and anything that you give, Cash App and all kinds of stuff. So again, thank you so much for hanging out and listening to me. And I appreciate, everyone that comes on and shares their time because I know that you can get more money, but you cannot get more time. So again, thank you so much for hanging out, joining me. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.